Back again for another Rock the Boat TV. We're back again. Who have we got?
DP. No, we already.
Rick James in the building, aka Black Britain.
Black Britain.
Switched it up. Switched it up there.
We also got Major on the visuals, and we also got
Sean Dapper.
You don't know. Alright, let's get it started, man. Start it off. Carnival.
Alright, yeah, come on.
Anyone go?
No, I didn't go this
No, I went.
I went still.
Oh, did you go? How was it though? Was it better? Was
bare kids, bruv, like on a hype. Like, I went with my brethren and
What days did you go? Sunday or Monday? Or?
Nah, I just went Monday.
Okay.
But I got there late. We were trying to find parking for like an hour and a half.
it?
And then we didn't end up getting in there till like 6:30, 7.
Raw.
Yeah.
Thing done.
Nah, it wasn't.
No.
They usually lock it off from early though.
But it was.
No, but everyone still want to party.
There was still floats going around and everything, bro.
Okay.
But there were certain roads. It took about 15-20 minutes to get through, and I'm talking small, like
Is it?
blocks, like.
Because one part of the carnival, I heard there was like metal detectors. All the police were getting people to go through there. They grabbed quite a lot of knives and stuff.
I saw like a makeshift one metal detector. And when I first saw it, I was thinking, wow, how they getting hundreds of thousands of man each individually?
Yeah.
But obviously they're just picking a group of people and just going, right, okay, check through. So look, I suppose at the end of the day, they've got to be seen to be doing something. Yeah.
Do you reckon the crowd is getting less and less every year? Or
No, it's getting more and more.
Oh yeah.
It was still round.
Bruv.
Is it?
I'm telling you, like some of the roads were round. Like I'm talking, I'm standing there. I'm a big guy, innit? Like I'm standing there and I'm being moved. So it's like I'm on one foot and I'm just like bare people, but like there's kids pushing and shit. It was fucking mad.
Any violence?
I didn't see any violence.
Well, look.
But I had to tell
So it's a
kids,
good.
like, don't
Calm
put a
down.
hand on me, innit? Like putting their hand on my back. I don't like that shit. I don't like crowds.
for
It is like I had to tell a couple
I
of
heard that the police managed the crowd quite well.
Yeah.
There was lines like certain roads. There was lines of fence like just standing there. Like they're not stopping you from going through, but they're just letting you know they're there, innit? Like it wasn't.
I don't know what the exact statistics is, but they did stop a lot of people with knives and Rambo knives, so that's a good thing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they did stop them.
Yeah, and they confiscated quite a lot of shit. So.
Well, look, let's
Just confiscated.
let's clarify.
I think there was quite a few arrests though.
Let's clarify. Look, number one, Notting Hill Carnival is the biggest carnival in Europe. Number one, it's second to Rio Carnival, yeah. And over the past 20 years, it's gotten even more bigger. In the 70s, it was already reaching something like just under 500,000 people.
Okay.
In the 70s.
Yeah,
Now
right.
it's like 2 mil past.
So now not only have you got loads of the generations of the families of the West Indians, you've also got a new influx now, which is white people as well. Yeah, so you've got double the amount in that small area of Ladbroke Grove, Notting Hill. As well as other whoever else wants to come in. Do you know what I mean? Like, so now it's getting even more bigger. I think 2017 they had 300 and something arrests. It's not the exact figures, but it was 300 and something arrests, and I think there was like 40 officers that had to go to.
They got injured. Yeah, they got injured.
But then it turned out that just over maybe about. So like it was 40 went to hospital. In the end, like it was like say 15 of them or 20 of them went there because they got spat on, so they were getting the medication for. So it wasn't I got injured. You know what I mean? So it's 20 man already.
See,
so
that's rude, you know.
Which is which most man would do. Yeah. So no cops. It wasn't like they're getting killed every year and this and that. That's not this. You know, one cop's been killed. In 81, I've forgotten the guy's name, around about the time of the riots. So the riots happened in Toxteth, and the riots happened down here. I've forgotten the police officer's name. But anyway, one kill. But most of the time, that don't happen.
Yeah.
Now, Glastonbury and all these other festivals, they got high amount of drug use in there. Yeah, they got people dying every year at these festivals. So that's let's put it in perspective. The problem that we've got is obviously because you've got knife crime in London, and it is more predominant in the black community. Not saying that other people don't do it, but it's more predominant in the black community. So if you're getting a whole bunch of people all going to one space, like, and there's over 1 million people, and you're getting 200 to 300 people with an incident, if you do that percentage-wise, that's like, do you know what I mean? That's the reality. It's just shocking, like, let's be real, when you see, oh, a whole bunch of black people, okay, like, you know, I'm just being real. Even guys who I know are very conservative, their eyes get a different way when they see a bunch of black people. It's like, it's the first time you're not used to seeing that, because you're in an environment where it's the other way around, where it's us being, okay, maybe London's different though, isn't it, I think? London mentality, like when I speak to, even though I grew up in London, when I speak to the mentality of maybe a guy in London on certain topics around those things, he sees the world differently. So did I. When I left London, I thought everywhere outside was like London, the mentality. Like, me, you Chinese, he's Oriental, he's Indian, he's black, he's what, everyone, I thought we were all safe. And you realise,
it's not like
I
that.
never ever, I was the opposite, bro. I was the opposite. I used to think that everywhere outside London was
soft.
country, like,
well, it is
full of white people.
Well, it was.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. But you're saying you thought it was.
What I know, no, what I did think, I was aware that outside of London was more white and wasn't so multicultural. But I thought the white people outside their way of thinking was the same as the whites in London.
And you see a black person, it's like, okay.
And as soon as you got outside, it was like, what? Right, you lot still got this stuff from. What? Right, okay, right, shit. Later, I just coming in for a drink.
There's a lot of coloured fellas around there, isn't there?
So, but let me just give some information just to make things so that we're all on an even plane to a certain degree. You've got to remember, Notting Hill started out of 2 reasons. One of them was because to show that the people from the West Indies came over and they were celebrating their life living here. And another thing that everyone forgets is the fact that it was for a race tolerance, a party of all of us were together. Because in Notting Hill, back in, well, when did it officially start? 1964 was the official time when it was all started off. But there was various groups of different people or different organisers that started it from, say, 1948. Yeah, so when the first Windrush people came over, 1948, 49, people were just starting little pockets of their own little parties. Like, do you know what I mean? Selwyn Baptiste is the main guy that a lot of people know. Claudia Jones and a Mrs. Ronnie Laslett. Now, this was a white woman. Most people don't know about that, but I've actually seen the plaque. She's still got her plaque on Tavistock Road. You know where the bridge is? You know where, I think one of the films, Shank or one of those lot, the scene where the girl goes into the, she goes into the hairdressers to talk to the other girl.
I can't remember.
Well, if anyone remembers that anyway, that little parade of shops, that's where those plaques are. Now this Ronnie Laslett, she was a community worker for the area, and she basically wanted some form of like unification between the people in that area. So she was the person who helped it as well. Russell Henderson was the first steel pan drummer, and he said he done his first one in '61, but the official one was like '64. That's when the records were official. So basically, you know, there's a bunch of people doing it, and it was to bring people together. Because remember, Notting Hill back in those days, and Ladbroke Grove, wasn't how it is now. It was being polite. It was a shithole. Yeah, where working class whites and blacks moved there because it was the cheapest place and they could move to, and obviously because it was the poorest. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, move there. Do you know what I mean? So they're not going to be moving blacks into Beverly Hills type of atmosphere. It's going to be the bullshits. If you go and look at any videos from Notting Hill in 1960, 1959 or whatever, you'll see is trash.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Mm.
they you know, try to obviously start their things, and another reason is because the reason why a lot of problems were there because the working class felt that the blacks were moving in, taking their jobs, women, and 5 years previously to that, a guy called Kelso Cochran got murdered down there. He got murdered. Let me just read it now. He, from what I remember, he was coming back from his way home from work, cut his hand, went to the hospital after injury from work, and a gang basically cut him. And the gang weren't caught.
Right, I never knew that.
And after that, there was a riot.
Okay.
So that's what the riots were of Notting Hill of 1958.
Okay, stem from that.
So all of this was. So these are the reasons why Carnival got started. One, like I said, because Caribbeans were trying to, Trinidadians, Jamaicans, you know what I mean, Barbadians, all the other places, they were trying to have a celebration to what, you know, being here. Another reason was to get all the people together, black and white, because previously Kelso Cochran had been killed and he got buried. I think you can still go on Pathé News on YouTube. It's still filmed, Ladbroke Grove, where he was getting buried at Ladbroke Grove Church.
But stemming from the carnival thing, has anyone seen Jamie Oliver's Jerk Rice? What are you guys thinking of that?
A lot of people are still buying it.
Is it?
Yeah, it's apparently doing well.
Really?
So that's
Well, I believe it is though. Why wouldn't it? It's rice. It's the equivalent of, I don't know, like a M&M. It's not for you lot. You lot showed me the thing. I'm selling it for these lot who are not you.
Yeah.
I can guarantee there will be a black person who's gonna go, I'm gonna buy some Jamie Oliver. They're gonna go and make it up because they know how to do it that way. It's so because it's our culture. We know how to make rice. Like I'm sure every man in here can get some rice going. If I had a room for, if I went into a pub and went, right, you guys show me how to make rice, a lot of guys in there are gonna fuck up.
But do you think you should have asked or got like a Jamaican to help him?
He did. He got shown it, but then obviously
he took his own take and.
I don't know whether he's.
Levi Root said that he showed him the recipe, but not all the recipe. So he says.
Okay.
Right. And then he appeared on.
So then that's your fault. Then already then.
Yeah. He appeared on a show.
Yeah.
Saying that with what's that? That woman.
Rusty Lee.
Okay.
It was in the Good Morning program, one of them.
Oh, this morning thing.
Not this morning, the one that comes on.
One of them.
One in Britain.
Who gives a damn anyway?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So Jeremy Kyle was
he
in there
was
as well.
basically saying that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And he had a bowl with all the ingredients, showing it to the camera and saying, these are the ingredients.
What the?
Exactly, but he threw some
Jerk
aubergine in there as well, though.
Of how to make jerk.
Chicken.
So
And
the
the
Levi
seasoning.
The sauce, the seasoning.
The seasoning in
Yeah.
the bowl, and he was showing the camera. He's saying, "Look at this. This is how you do jerk." And one of the interviews saying, "Why are you showing the whole world for?"
Okay.
So I don't know if Levi Roos was trying to kind of like take it back.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Rusty Lee's the one who looked like she was more insulted.
Yeah.
Because it was a thing where she was, really insulted by the jerk rice, and Levi Roots was trying to be diplomatic in how he was trying to say it.
Okay.
Who's Rusty Lee though?
Rusty used to
She
do
used to be
cooking
on
food
Good
programs on the TVAM.
TVA.
Now that one.
Yeah, but that's
Have you seen Sainsbury's version though?
Jerk soup.
Yeah. Jamaican, was it Jamaican jerk? Yeah, jerk soup.
but the thing is,
They've been doing this shit for time though. Like, it's just coming because now they've got Jerk Rice and Jamie Oliver's come out and said this. They've been. They got fucking.
There shouldn't really be a problem though, is it?
I'm sure they had jollof rice.
Yeah.
Africans make
Even
like
the
up
Chinese
all
as well.
fucking-
No, I mean, look, I don't think. Number one, they've only just realised these things and started to do these things really over the past 15, 20 years now, where they're starting to. Right, we've had time with you, and then we're seeing. Oh, okay. Now, to a certain degree, we're living in a capitalist society, yeah. So. There's one side of me that understands where, like, yeah, but there's another side to me go, well, we haven't got our own thing popping, so that I can say, because it's just competition. It would be just competition then. Oh, blah blah blah's doing his rice thing. Oh, they're trying to compete. Like we just haven't got it there. So someone's going, oh, there's an opening, let me do it. Now, am I agreeing and feeling good about it? No, because at the same time I'm like, oh shit, one of us should. But then that goes back to us, like, well, we should have had our own thing. Levi should be Levi should have had the shit locked down. When he came out, I thought, right, okay, you're gonna clean up on anything to do with our black food. You've done the jerk.
One thing I will say, you see with Levi,
Yeah.
he where he got his bus from, so to speak, was from Dragon's Den.
Dragon's Den.
So once again, it's not us as a black people that went pushed it forward. It was some white investors that so they're eating off it anyway. So it's just and if you look at it in a different way, like for example, any West Indian shop you go to and get jerk chicken, it's one jerk chicken shop. One shop West Indian shop is going to do jerk chicken. It's not going to taste the same as somebody else's one. So everyone's got different little parts and sauces. So therefore, really and truly, it was done from before. The Jamie Oliver's taken over with the jerk rice, but as I said, Dragon's Den. Without Dragon's Den, there'd be no Levi Roots. So that's another thing we can look at what we didn't do ourselves again.
So it's going back to us in a certain way of okay, how come Lerone, my man, and me didn't go? Okay, look, we're all doing our little certain things, whatever it is. Yeah, some doing 9 to 5, some hugging the street. Why? I know we've all got our different lives, but why don't we all go? That's what 30 bags. There's 30 bags. There's 30 bags. So we can do this thing so that we can get something popping.
The thing is, right, in this country, the takeaway food, the most popular takeaway food back in the day was fish and chips.
Right.
Yes. That was like Britain's national, England's national thing.
I'm sure Indian must have been
Chinese.
Curry's been big. Curry's been big since 40 years ago.
Yeah, but
it's been big since 40 years
ago. If people want to take away, the first thing is, let's get a curry.
Yeah.
Who are they going to get the curry?
Indian man. Yeah, but you just said a minute ago the biggest thing. Don't get me wrong. Fish and chips is England's like quick food. But the first thing that they were going, okay, let's try this other thing, was two people, the Chinese and the Indians, because they first came over from the 60s and started like doing their shops up north, and obviously down here. That's why you got like Chinatown used, because from the 60s they were like, we will serve you our food, and it's not even really our food. It's just what you think our interpretation of our food is, whatever. Yeah, but.
But do you kind of get the point that it's moved from national dish fish and chips to curry? Now you could have an industry and say, okay, let's find out what the ingredients are to make this curry, and we can do it ourselves and have our own curry shops and all this kind of thing. That doesn't happen. So you still have to go.
So what?
To
hold on.
The Asian community.
But what you're doing there is something that I thought about when I was 11 years old. Yeah. The main thing we should be doing before I get to that point is you should be trying to sell your own product, because no one can sell your product because that is your product. It's your culture. It's everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if something's already big and everybody wants this thing, that it's like trends nowadays. If something's big, why are you going to try and do something else, work that extra bit harder when you can just wait and do that? Yeah. You can. So say Indian now. Indian's already bust. Indian's already big. Let me see if I can get in on that market, because I'll be making straight away.
Okay.
This is no, hold on, but this is. I think we're all talking about the same thing, but I think we're on different parts of it. Yeah. Going back to what you just said. You just said one culture noticing another person's culture and benefiting financially off that culture, that other person's culture. So I'll give you an example.
But that's what Total Bay's done.
Yeah, I was going to come.
No, but let me just clarify so we can be clear on it. There's two different types of things. What you're saying is something that's never been done. You said black people take Asians some part of their culture and sell it, because you just said black people selling curry. That's what you just said. I'm sure that's what you said.
The English national dish was fish and chips. Right. So I'm going to get fish and chips. I'm going out there, right? Yeah. Now I'm going to get a curry. Right. So the Englishman is saying, I'm going to get a curry. That's now become their national dish.
But that's what I'm saying. Number one, that's not a now thing. That's been here since.
Yeah. So even though you're making the point that it's been a now thing for a long time, the people that you go to get curry is who? Is
Asian
it Jamie?
people.
Is it Jamie Oliver? It's not, is it?
No, so if I want to go get curry, I go to Asian people.
That's the thing, because if I went into a shop, a curry shop,
Yeah,
and all the staff were white,
yeah.
It's not.
I totally agree with you.
and
That
also
happens a lot in
Thai,
America.
Yeah,
But when
but
you go to Chinese restaurants, there's Mexicans working in the kitchen. Like,
that's happening now. That's happening now. That's only been a change over the past 10 years, right? But going back to what you just said, now where I was saying there's a difference. The difference is, and I hate to bring it to this, but it's just the truth. The particular situation you're talking about is whites looking at other cultures and going, okay, you're doing, Mr. Watt's doing, well, okay, so I'll do a ready version.
I don't think he was pinpointing to any particular. I think he's just saying, why don't we take something from a different culture or from somewhere else and then try and resell it ourselves?
Well, historically, the only person who's done that has been the white person. Everyone else has just sold their own cultured things. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to clarify. The only person that's looked at all 5 different people, different various people, and gone, okay, I'll do some of that and sell it to my people, has historically been the European. Even if we actually go back again, in a little bit in history, it's always been the European who's seen something else from somewhere else and gone, okay, let me borrow that and I'll sell it to my people.
Okay, let me try to say, marketing now. Let's say we're marketing jerk as a product that comes from the Caribbean or Jamaica, whatever you want to say now, right? If we were to market that ourselves, right, it would become a viable product.
Yeah.
What is happening is being marketed not by blacks, but by whites, so it becomes marketable. In other words, it's another industry, isn't it? Right. The curry industry will remain Asian. Jerk won't remain Jamaican because they're not going to profit off it.
Right.
But other people will profit off it.
Right.
And whether they call it jerk rice or jerk soup or whatever they want to call it, once you water it down, it becomes marketable in that way. It can be anything.
Right.
Which is why they're saying it's cultural appropriation now. But JP Oliver's doing it. You know what I mean? Because we're not profiting off it
anything
at all.
But what I'm trying to get to is the Asians sold all their products that are their own culture. Oriental people or Far East Asia do the same thing,
and profit from it.
And profit from it. We're the only ones who don't profit from it. We're all aware of that, right? Even if you think, what's our name brand rice?
That's mine.
Right, you just said it.
Was it?
Uncle Ben.
Oh, Uncle Ben.
So you even got the black dude who looked like your grandpa on the cover, But listen to what I'm saying to you. Uncle Ben's isn't a black-owned company. It's owned by a white guy. It was started by a white guy, and Uncle Ben, the dude who was called Ben, was a guy he knew, and he didn't want to call him Mr. Ben. Because in them days, calling a black man Mr. was a
but the thing is, what I'm talking about is breaking that cycle as well, because that happened with Jack Daniels as well.
So we're all on the same.
Jack Daniels
from Tennessee.
No, but I swear I heard.
Because it was someone who made, I think it is.
No, the original guy who made the Jack Daniels Tennessee. The guy who the ingredients was a black worker who the guy knew. There's even a photo of them not sitting together, and the black guy is not sitting in a subservient manner. He's sitting as they're on the same mat. Like this dude, they were like, nah, he's. Do you know what I mean? Because he knows this shit. Same way like Lewis Latimer, the guy who helped Thomas Edison make the light bulb, he wasn't, even though we were in a climate of he's lower than us, but they were still but he's special. That's why he's working with me now to make this, But the main point is what we're getting to is, and I said this before in our other things, but I've just said it in different ways, We have our commodities are ourselves, but we're still trying to navigate this world that we're in over the past 100 and something years after we've been, right, you're set free now, you can do what you want to do.
Can't market ourselves in other words.
Sorry?
Can't market
Of course you can, everyone can market themselves. It's just, everyone can market themselves. We already do it. What 2 things do black people do? Like if we're looking at meritament, That's two
That's
things.
that's a stereotypical view of what we
I'm not saying. Hold on. I'm not saying you can't do anything else. Like I just said, Lewis Latimer was doing totally different. Yeah, right. But what I'm saying to you is the two commodities that we're aware that we have got, is sport and entertainment. I'm not saying we can't do anything else. Of course, we can do loads of other things. There's loads of other brilliant scientists, inventors, all types of stuff. But that's the two assets that we have on this planet that we're known for. And we don't own even the assets that we're selling. So there was already a problem. Listen to what I'm saying for a minute so you can digest what I'm saying. I said it to you the other day about the NFL. The NFL and the NBA, our commodities are ourselves. If all them players decided to stop playing tomorrow, the NBA and the NFL are fucked. Do you know how much money they generate for those companies? They billions, yeah? So the point is, the fact that we're having to beg for certain things, but we don't know how much power we have in what we're actually doing. The music business, Capitol Records, Sony, all those people, the amount of money they've made off these artists. I wouldn't even say you don't know how to market yourself.
I agree with that.
Why do you say you don't know how to market yourself?
I think as a culture overall, think about, like we've got the jerk thing. Think about how many black Caribbean restaurants there are that stay open for years, apart from Scandal, which ain't even Scandal no more. You know what I mean? Like, they come and they go. Either because the service ain't good, or the one on Kingsley Road. There was two right next to each other.
Yeah.
One of them
in the roundabout.
The other one's barely fucking nah, by the bus garage, right next to the bus garage.
Oh, okay.
One's gone now, after about maybe less than a year, and the other one I don't even think opens all the time.
Right. So can I ask a question? Is that something to do with outside? Hold on. Is that something to do with outside entities, or is it something to do with us individually?
But we're the common denominator.
I think outside entities also can be thing because, for example, you have a shop, in a sense where there's a rent. Now, throughout time with things rising and all that stuff, if the powers that be want to shut down a company without shutting it down, all you're gonna have to do is raise rent and raise things that kind of way. And if your business is not doing it up, what's gonna happen? You're losing money. You're gonna close the shop.
So then,
and that happens in the black
exactly
all the time.
Exactly. Either because we're not handling our business properly, or we don't have the vision. We don't have a clear vision, and we don't think about it.
We don't read the contract.
Right. So
and then look at what's it? Sun Pride.
Right.
That's Asians.
So let's go back. Let's
jumping into our shit.
Let's not because
what? Because we're handling our shit properly and we're marketing our shit properly and we're selling our shit.
No. Hold on. Before we go into anyone else, I'm just trying to be real as I can. Yeah. Half the problems are outside, but half the problems are inside.
Yeah, they are.
That's what I'm trying to get
so
to.
It's about us managing ourselves.
Right.
That's exactly. If
right.
we handled our shit
properly,
the outside problems wouldn't be as big.
Right.
Exactly.
So wasn't I? If we go back on the video, aren't I saying this? You saying we don't promote ourselves, or we don't market ourselves. I wasn't even thinking more that because you can clearly see we have marketed ourselves brilliantly and we do sell. If you look in music, if you look in sport, we have the right people behind us have marketed us to the
but we're not talking music and sport. We're talking Jamie Oliver. We're talking food right now. If we talk, just keep because to food stuff.
The reason I'm talking about those two assets because the food thing, is a fraction to what other two commodities historically that we've had.
True point.
Thank you.
That's true.
Every person that we're talking about that we idolise in black society is from the two things that I just said to you: sport and entertainment. Yeah.
How we get into sports and entertainment?
No, because it boils down to the same things. We have a commodity that others want. Yeah.
Is it us marketing the music and the sports?
No, we're not marketing it.
Going back to what I'm saying again,
I'm just asking.
We have these commodities, we are good at something, but what's happened is, and I've said this previously,
Being good at something is not marketing.
again,
Yeah,
give me a minute. Just give me a minute to get it all out so you can understand what I'm saying. Yeah, right. The fact that our mentality is not one like other communities, where even though we are doing madness, and this guy's doing madness, this guy's trying to do a good thing, as a community, historically in the West Indies, maybe in some parts of Africa and in the West, in America, we haven't all done this. Like I just said, he's a shotter, he's working 9 to 5, but we all continuously put money in the pot and look after each other and say, look, we've got a dream, and the dream is we're gonna let Andy run this food thing. And he's going to do it, even if it takes 10, 15 years, we're going to let him do that, so we've got a commodity to sell to the masses, yeah? Same with sport, yeah? Originally, what happened with music and entertainment was we had the commodity, which is us, but we didn't run the money trade, the circle of what was going on. So we had to do this, knock on the door of next man.
Do you know what? I
think
the main word, what it is, what we seek. And listen, we've got all the market, we've all got the commodities, like you said. The main thing we seek is validation, and that's what it is. We seek validation in order to get our stuff out there. So, for example, if you go to sports, there was the basketball league. Do you remember there was the nigger league?
For all of the leagues, basketball,
but then it was only validated when it was accepted to go into where it is today. Like when the black people can now play with the whites. Now that's where it gets validation. Same thing with every other element. We have to, in order to reach that point where where we could be self-marketable and use our commodities ourselves and recoup it ourselves, is to stop seeking validation from others.
I think you're right. But if I was to go straight to the point and say to someone who's just come off a different planet and explain to me, we have to go to someone else who's the gatekeeper, because we're not the gatekeepers.
That's what it is.
Hold on, black culture, black influence, we start everything, but for it to blossom and go worldwide and make us money, we have to knock on the door of the next man.
There's quite a few people in the country that are doing well, that are helping with the entertainment, like for instance Stormzy. Like with what has he done? He's got scholarships for 2 black students.
Okay.
That's a great thing. You got Akala, who's got a doctorate. He's done children's books. Yeah. He's done books and he does lectures.
Okay. So he's giving back.
Knocking on the doors.
He's giving back.
These people are giving back and they're making the most from what they have.
Hold on. He's giving back to his community. He's trying to do his little thing and his little way of giving back to the community. Yeah. But in the first place, every person you talk about who's a black star, I don't care who you're talking about, they all had to do this. Excuse me.
To who though?
Can I put one name in the mix?
Exactly.
There's a
These two I just mentioned.
So who Stormzy signed to?
That's a good point.
He's signed to a record label, right?
Yeah.
Are they black owned?
What's the record label then?
Let's find out who the record label is. Then we can continue that. If it's not an independent black owned, it's going to be.
They knock on the door.
The labels. They knock on the door. Every person you can mention right now, and I've got £200 in my pocket. If I'm wrong, I'll give you £50. Whether you say Eddie Murphy, Michael Jackson, Otis Redding, fucking Marvin Gaye. Actually, I couldn't say Marvin Gaye because they were on Motown Records, yeah? Right. Which was like trying to get to what I'm saying. It was black owned, so you were doing it in your community. I don't know his record label. Is he signed to an independent or is he signed to? Is his own man? Right, so he's his own man. So what's happened? Yeah, what we're going through. You've had 50 odd years of us going. I got knocked. I got conned. Next man, and then we've gone through a generation now where it's going.
Syndrome.
Everyone, the list can go on. But what's happened over the past 10, 15 years is now they're going, right, I'm going to be independent. I'm not going to knock on the door because we've seen the history of, okay, he done it like this, he done it like that. I spoke to this guy in the label, hold on a minute, and he said this. Right, okay, we've learned some information now. We're going to try and do it independently and cut out him. So that's the change. So this new generation, we're hopefully seeing that because they should be learning from the mistakes of Otis Redding, TLC, MC Hammer, where they ended up, oh shit, I'm in a debt. I owe money, but I've been touring.
Yeah. But that's old shit. That's old shit. People are wiser now. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same now as it was back then.
No, it shouldn't be. That's the whole point. This is the whole point of what. This is the whole point of why I say about history, because the only way you know not to make those mistakes is looking back at the past.
Okay, so Stormzy is doing this scholarship thing
Right.
through his own label, Merchant
Should do,
Records.
should do.
So what's that got to do with the man behind
The reason
Island
I think
Records?
there's
or
always
Of
going to
course
be a
there
man.
is.
There's always going to be a man there because
yeah, but that's
how the
nothing
system
to
is
do
set
with
up.
what he's
Exactly,
doing.
he
You can't
doesn't
put
need to
that
do
white
that.
people.
The reason
He's put his label on it, which is Murky Records. He's a black man. He's doing it for black people.
Yeah.
So to say, oh, this is he's gone and knocked on the door of the white man. That's bullshit. Because who cares? Who cares? The white man ain't getting the accolades they should because everything has got his face.
Can I just explain
His
something?
face
Let me explain something. Number one, white man doesn't need to get the accolades. You take all the little copper shine, I'll take the real checks. That's how he always works. I'll sign your check shack. You can buy your spinners and your jewels and be on TV. I'm behind this
Because at the end of the day, you
camera.
have to go to the bank, innit? But anyway, Floyd Mayweather, would you say that that's a little bit different?
No, it's
And do you think it's a good example? Because
Why?
I think a lot of people don't recognise his achievements.
Floyd. Should I tell you what Floyd Mayweather does? It's the same thing of what I've just said. He's got his family, his dad and his uncles.
Which is
Right,
good.
right now. They were the generations before who was boxing,
That's right.
working under management and getting jerks. So by the time he's born, they've seen how it goes and they go, no, we need to do this independently. Because he's getting the knowledge from the elders to say,
That's a good model.
don't do this,
That's
we're
a
going to
good
do it
model.
like this. So he was one of the first pioneers to go. Don't get me wrong, there was other people who did it and tried it, but he was one of the ones that was successful, where he's learning from his elders, yeah, who said to him, look, we've done this. I tried to do that in '72 and work with him. I got con. This one done this. What we're going to do it independently, and this is how we'll do it. Yeah, and they also work with a marketing tactic, Floyd.
But it sounds like based on your logic that will get swept under the carpet because back in the day, the white man was jerking the uncle and the dad. You know what I mean?
Look, brother. I'm not. It's not a conspiracy thing or anything. Yeah. If we had documentaries, Pathé documentaries of stuff, you can clearly see the history of a lot of black people. Yeah. It's like I said, in the sports that we do and the entertainment we do, and we've had to knock on the door. And the person who we have to knock on the door to has got a deal. If you're going to make this amount of millions, I'm getting this money too. And some people it's worked successful, but a lot of us it's been jerked. And the main thing is you weren't in control of your own thing. You had to come to the doors. And then as time's gone on, it's been the newer generation is learning. I'm not going to go to the doors no more. We're going to try and do our own thing. That's all it is. That's all it is.